donation here. Philip Minkiewicz. This is actually a really good question too. Philip, thanks for the donation as well, $5. We appreciate it. We appreciate you tuning in. So here was a really good question. When was your racing breakthrough? When did you start winning? What did you change, start seeing results? When did stuff click just for that extra little bit? Because we talk about it all the time that, and Ashley and Braden have spent years and years coaching drivers. Now Paulie and Connor are getting into it. It's not a standard, diagonal curve. Everyone plateaus, everyone hits a spark, and so this is a really good one. Paulie, we'll give you first honors again. When did you feel like things clicked for you? What was the spark and what changed?
Probably when I joined Doty in I think it was 2019-ish. I don't remember, but it was around that time, and I was starting to get more and more help. But then I kind of actually really started focusing on listening and taking the time to go through the data, go through the video, let people yell at me for what I'm doing wrong. And now, I mean, I won, I don't really win still, but I'm working on it. But now I really go into the trailer. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing, but at the end of the day, I don't watch my video, but I will look at the data compared to everybody else in the tent. I will stay in there for about probably an hour to 2 hours, just looking at everything, looking at every single corner, looking at everything that I could do to fix, or what I might need or what I might not need, and what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. But I will sit in there and just look at everything at the national events and just study it so I can be better.
Ashley, what about yourself? Do you remember the weekend where you feel man, I'm a contender now, or things clicked specifically?
Yeah, it was a really black and white weekend for me specifically. I felt like I was racing Sportsman, and when I, first moved up from Sportsman, I was terrible, terrible. I was slow. I didn't we'd go to Daytona and not even make the A main. We'd not make the A main, be in the back of the B main. We did that for 2 years. But we went to a Florida Winter Tour race in Homestead and Sportsman, and I had wrecked put it in the barrier 3 different times that weekend. And, we went into the final, I wrecked in the pre-final, started last. And I just remember being so fed up with being trash. I was just so tired of being the one that, was always in the back, and it just flipped. I remember sitting on the grid and was just I'm going to go out there and freaking destroy it. And I ended up winning that race starting from last. And that really was when my light switch came on. And honestly, that's how I explain it to, the parents that I do coach. I say, I can do so much, but there is light switches in all of them, and they have to be the one to turn it on. So for me, I did it, that it took me getting angry at myself for finishing bad and not wanting to be in the back anymore to start seeing those results. So from there on, I was able to keep progressing, and I was able to run up front, and so that's how it was for me.
Braden, can you remember the weekend where it clicked for you?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a progressing through my first year in senior. I felt like I was really good in junior, but was racing some guys that had big money, and we just never quite had the equipment to do it. Went up to senior, and then I remember the exact weekend that it happened. It was I had went to Jay, was working with Jay for a couple races, and then we started to get our engine program under control. And then we went to Phoenix, and that was when we got it all together. And then I ended up going out and winning. That was my first national win really since cadet at that point. And it was all finally being put together, but I don't know if it was necessarily fully based on skill, because I felt like I had been at that level for a little bit then. And it was just putting it all together with the equipment and obviously, executing a race properly.
And Connor, what about you, man? You absolutely were already feeling like you turned a light switch this year. I mean, from an outside, it almost seems like when you came back from Europe or after winning the Academy Trophy Series. But do you feel like it came even before that?
Yeah, I like to say it was in 2017 when I won the Rock World Finals and Supernats both within the same month. that's when it really clicked for me, because before that I was a mid-pack kind of. I got lucky and won the WKA Man Cup series and got a ticket to Italy, and I had no intentions on even making the final when I went there. And I went there with a full head of steam, win it or bin it. And I went there and I somehow managed to win. And after that, I won Supernats after being like a mid-pack mini driver the whole year. So I think that's the main thing for me. And parents always ask me, like, man, I'm putting so much time into this. And same thing with what Ashley said is, I can only do so much. I mean, I can tell them what to do, but until they go out there and their light switch flips on, I can't do too much. And I've seen it happen with some kids, and other kids, it still is yet to happen. And it's something that I don't know what it is, but there's something in us that turns that switch on. And when it does turn on, you can tell. And I think that switch turned on in 2017 for me, and ever since then, it's been a lot better.
It's such an incredible thing too, because like we all work our whole lives towards racing, and it's building on from the time we're 6 years old, 7 years old, 8, all the way until we're in our teens, always learning every single weekend. And then all of a sudden you'll get to that point and you'll put everything together, and like you can like never give up, because it can be anyone can just like figure it out. And it's wild, you know, like just to see the amount of work and the amount of time that needs to be put in before it all comes together. It's something.
Right. And I mean, I think from a driver's perspective, and you could probably get that from everyone here, I mean, your mentality might change a little bit, but like the weekend where like it culminates, it almost is like anticlimactic, because everything's natural by that point. Like you've worked on, worked on late apexes, working on maximizing your braking, working on being smooth on the wheel and making the right decisions. And I think probably my best recent weekend was that weekend in Ocala. And I don't even know if I looked at data once or twice. I think I spent most of the time coaching the other people that are around me. And I think like everyone there saying, I mean, you can even hear it in Connor's story, I mean, went over there, didn't expect to do anything, but I mean, Connor, did you do anything specifically different, when you went through that weekend? Because like you said, that was massive to go and win a world championship race.
Yeah, the main thing is surrounding yourself with the right people. I mean, you can be the best driver in the world, and if you're not surrounded by the best equipment, then you're going to get beat by the 95% driver with the 100% equipment when you're the better driver. And I mean, there's still cases of that today when I see kids that I watch their video and I'm like, man, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you're driving as good as I could, and you're just running 10th because you don't have the best motor. And I mean, you see that in some kids, and I went to Europe and I got surrounded with all the best equipment, and that's when it clicked. And ever since then, it's been uphill.